All right, UMAC fans, we are back with the UMAC Game of the Week. We are excited about an upcoming game this Saturday in women's basketball. We have North Central University hosting the University of Wisconsin-Superior at 3 p.m. in Minneapolis. It's going to be an exciting matchup. We have two very different programs. We have a up-and-coming North Central team that has really come on strong the last few seasons, but particularly this season. They are off to a 4-0 conference start and a 12-2 overall season after having competed some in November and December. And then we have Wisconsin Superior, a powerhouse team that has really dominated this conference for its first few years in the UMAC. They joined in 2015-16 and went on to win 4 straight regular season titles and 3 conference tournament titles before getting upended by Bethany Lutheran last year, but has really been one of the strongest programs in this conference. So we're excited to see their two styles of play match up on Saturday and know that it's an important game for both teams. Again, we talked last week in men's hoops, but same in women's. We only have one regular season contest between all of our teams, and definitely have had a lot of different challenges already with different postponements, but teams are working hard to get games in, and we're excited that these two can get their games in this year. So we will be talking to the head coaches from each team, head coach Paul Brunner from North Central and head coach Zach Otto-Fisher from Wisconsin Superior. So we are going to bring both of them on just a little bit more about this matchup. So North Central has won 6 straight games and most recently defeated the University of Minnesota Morris on the road. It was a program first win for that team. So really exciting basketball and things going on for North Central right now. Superior has started off 2-2 overall, 1-2 in the conference. Had 2 really tough close losses to Northwestern and Bethany Lutheran. So started off the season with some of the toughest teams in the conference, but really looking to bounce back, and they're excited to get going against North Central. So we look forward to chatting with our coaches. So we will jump right in with them. All right, we are here for our Game of the Week interview for women's basketball. This week we have North Central University head coach Paul Brunner. Paul, thanks for joining us. We are really excited to talk to you about the upcoming game against Wisconsin Superior on Saturday, but also just the success of your program so far this year, coming off a big win against Morris, the first in program history this past weekend. So talk a little bit about what it means for your program to kind of have this success early on in a very short, unique season, and then to get a win like that going into this week.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on this interview, and thanks for highlighting our game on Saturday against Superior. We're excited for that. Yeah, it was a big game for us on Saturday against Morris. I think the thing that stands out for me, one is just how good that program has been, Tim at Morris, ever since he's been there, making the playoffs every year. So the fact that we beat them means that we're getting better, as a team and as a program. But ultimately, just beating one team is not our goal that we have for the season. But we do celebrate those steps along the way in our journey. And we have had, some success this year, overall with our record. But we talk about it, and sometimes people are surprised to hear it. We don't have goals of win this many games or get this seed for the playoffs. It's winning is a goal that we have in our program, but it's not our purpose, and we don't define success by wins or losses. We define it by the type of people that we're becoming. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of so far. So looking forward to continuing that.
Yeah, I think that is key to, really building a successful program is the types of players you bring in. And the last 2 seasons, you've made the conference tournament, and I think well on your way to being one of the top seeds in the tournament this year as well. So what has kind of been key to your team's improvement over the last few years and specifically this season?
Yeah, good question. And I get that often, and I always tell people it's the players, it's the student athletes. Yes, we have a great staff. We love Coach Leah, Coach Laderica this year especially, but it's the players, and it's their commitment, it's their hard work, and they show up every day and believe in each other and buy into something bigger than themselves. And it's ultimately their character that's driving our success right now. And we talk about it as a program, the goals that we have every single day. We want to work hard, we want to have fun, and we want to love our teammates. Right, because those are the things that we can control. And we feel like if we do those things, right, the results, the success, that will come if we do those things. And so I'm proud of our team for how we're handling those things. But ultimately, it's their love and service and care for each other that drives our program forward.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and is hearing a lot is focusing on what you can control this year. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that you can't control. I went into this thinking you'd be playing basketball tomorrow against Bethany, and that's not happening. And we're unsure, if the game on Saturday was happening, and we're excited that it will be. But how do you prepare for games and specifically teams this season when there is so much unknown about day to day, whether you're going to, you played yesterday and that wasn't expected early on in the week. So how do you prepare for games and season when you just don't know what's coming next?
Yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. That game last night came together in less than 24 hours. We talk a lot about, E plus R equals O, and it's our response to the event that helps determine the outcome. And we're just grateful and thankful to be playing and, to be together as a program. When it comes to, big games like this on Saturday, it's different to only have one chance to play each team. I would say it doesn't change much, in our prep for that. We know that we have to play at a high level every single game in our conference, no matter who it is. And the fact that it's Superior this Saturday, we know Zach does a great job there, respect his program. And we're excited to compete at a high level and, in a sense, display the improvement that we feel like we've made the last couple of years and this year especially, as we take the next steps in our competitiveness as a program.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I think all you can do at this point is just focusing on how you respond to situations. And so I guess kind of to wrap up, what has impressed you most about your team with all the challenges that they've gone through this year and their ability to still come out and find success as a
Yeah.
team and on the court?
Probably don't have adequate time to share all of those things, but it's all about the student athletes, and their resilience, and their grit and their determination and their love for each other. And when we started October 1st, it seems like forever ago, and it kind of was. We didn't know what we're getting into, and we're still navigating a lot of things. We have played, a bunch of games, but we still deal with adversity and setbacks and things like that. But we talked about, no matter what our season brought us this year, kind of three things: choosing joy no matter what, working while we wait and being prepared for every opportunity, and then really working hard on being defined by our character, not our circumstance. And for us, choosing joy and having gratitude that drives us, and joy for us, it's a mindset. It's not based on circumstance, it's based on the focus of our lives, and for us, that's Christ and our relationship with the Lord. And we're just having a blast, being together, growing together, learning together. So thankful for every opportunity, for our administration, our AD, our senior leadership team, and you guys, in the UMAC office for giving us the chance to play.
Well, we are excited that you are playing and really looking forward to an exciting game this Saturday and hopefully some highlight reels. I saw a half court shot from last week and would like to see some more excitement from this game on Saturday. So really glad that you could join us, Paul, and just appreciate your time and your passion and energy for your team and sharing that with us today.
Yep. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. All right, we are here for our UMAC Women's Basketball Game of the Week interview with University of Wisconsin Superior head women's basketball coach, Zach Otto-Fisher. Zach, thanks for being with us today. We're excited to talk about a big game this Saturday against North Central University. Really a challenging week, a back and forth on teams are playing games all over the place, getting canceled, but we are on for Saturday, which is really exciting. But kind of wanted to start there. This has been a really unique and challenging season for everybody, but we're finally playing and your team is finally going. What has been impressive about your team and how they've handled this season and all the challenges and unknowns that have come with having to work through different things to get to play?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just they're very resilient. We talk about all the time about, is this affecting you, the testing and the cancellations and, quarantine or not being in there? And when are we practicing? And for the most part, they're all like, no, it's just kind of our new routine. And that was kind of nice to hear because I was really worried about that part. As coaches, we're freaking out and, constantly texting each other. Are we playing? Are we not? Connecting with other schools. And for the players to kind of feel like that calmness, I think has been great. I'm very happy with the way that they just show up every day, whether we have a practice or a game, they get in and get out in the 2 hours or 3 hour window that we have. And they get after it and they get better. And, we're a young squad this year. So that brings in challenges on itself, but they've really just kind of stuck to the game plan of take every day and don't take it for granted and take advantage of that one day that we get. I think overall too, like it's just been great to bring our conference closer. I think, with coaches, I think we've connected more just seeing what they're doing and how we're going through. I mean, North Central Coach Paul and I are texting, back and forth. Hey, are we good? What's going on? How's it going with your team? And I think, from a coach standpoint, that's been great to just be able to rely on each other, the coaching peers in our conference.
Yeah, I think that's been something I've heard a lot is just having a network of people who are going through the same thing. And it's good to hear. It's consistently hearing that our players are, handling this really pretty maturely, and just the opportunity to be able to play keeps them focused. But it was a long break before actually getting to play. And, the fall season was different for different programs just based on institutional differences. So like North Central was able to get some games in, and other schools it was mostly practice and small groups. So how did you find your team able to kind of push through that and keep them motivated when, it really wasn't a normal training environment, and it definitely was more extended than normal this year?
Yep. I think you kind of had to break it into, every game we go into, we break it down by quarter. And I think with our coaches, we kind of did that for the season. All right, let's break it down by week, type of thing. And with us knowing we weren't going to be able to play games, as soon as that kind of became official, we're not playing games until, after January, it allowed us to kind of look at our schedules and be like, all right, let's plan out the next couple of weeks. And we listened to the input of the players. Do you want to go 4 days a week? Do you want to go 3 days a week? And they were all pretty clear that 3 days a week is good for practice because you don't want to burn them out. I mean, it's tough to go 5 weeks, no games, and just day after day, because then everybody's frustrated. Coaches are wanting you to go hard every day, but let's face it. I mean, you cannot do that. So we listened to the players' input, and then we what we did in the fall is we went 3 days a week, tried to, not do our normal routine. The first 2 weeks were bonus practices. So we did a lot of just skill development and shooting, where we didn't put any plays in until later on because we knew they're going to go home for Thanksgiving break and then come back in January, and let's not have to teach them it all over again. So we kind of, were methodical in that way on how we wanted to approach it. We knew we were sending them home at Thanksgiving break anyways. I know a lot of schools and some of the conference, they didn't have that planned out. So I think that was kind of a shocker. But for us, we were disrupted 1 week early just because of COVID cases that it was kind of fell into our plan. We knew we were sending them home from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So yeah, it has been challenging. I'm not going to lie. I'm not that coach who maybe always has like the fun drills at practice. Probably a flaw of mine, but we had to get creative. We had to have competitions. You couldn't just go your normal basketball, type of thing. And that was fine. And I think it made me develop as a coach to be better, to be like, all right, throw a fun free throw drill in there every once in a while. It's okay to play lightning and knockout at practice. And I hope that carries over for the future, but that's kind of how we just took it on, was just kind of get to know each other. And the hard part about it was practice was the only time that the players could be together. You couldn't really do much outside of practice just because of COVID protocols and trying to stay safe. So we kind of had to use that as our outlet to really get to know each other.
Yeah, I think that we've heard a lot of different things about creativity, and I think that also probably helps prepare for the season to bring the team together. And I think to work through challenges. And I think one in particular, maybe for your team, that is a little different. It's just been, this is a shortened season. You only get to play everyone once, and, suffering a couple setbacks here early in the year. But I think you have a good opportunity, and you're taking on a team that's done really well. So how have you prepared, not just for this game, but also how do you prepare this year, knowing that things can change very quickly on who you might even be playing?
You can't prepare, Sarah. If there's a coach out there who figured it out, I mean, to give input to that, I mean, Sunday, Monday, we were getting ready for a game on Finlandia. And then we're like, all right, we're on a pause. All right, we might try to add Scholastica, nope, that's not going out. All right, let's focus on North Central. So it's really just kind of, diving in and just being like, all right, today's the day. We're moving forward. Yeah, North Central, they've got a great squad and they're playing really, really well. We had Bethany and Northwestern to start our season, along with Martin Luther. And you always want to play the best. I'm so happy that our conference is just getting strong top to bottom. But for us, North Central, we're just going in like we have every game this year. Is ladies, don't look at who the opponent is. We always talk about we're our own, opponent, or we're our own competition, and we just have to focus on that. That yes, North Central does a lot of great things, and we're going to have a scouting report and know their tendencies. But we also got to work on what we're good at and get better at that. Because if we can excel at that, then make the other team try to adjust to our game. So yeah, you look at the start of our season, it's definitely new territory for us in our program. We're usually not like that, but I'm very happy with the way that we have our players. And, with COVID, you lose players too. So you always got to look at that. I know a lot of times people always say, well, what's going on with your program? Well, other programs are getting better and other programs have different players. And that's just our focus, is focused on what Yellow Jacket basketball is. And that's what we're going to take into the game versus, Paul and his crew on Saturday.
Well, I know we're excited for it, and I think we're all just excited that games are taking place and competitive ones. Like you mentioned, I think we've got some really strong programs at the top of our conference this year. So in a year where you only get the one game, I think it's even more exciting. So we are really looking forward to it and appreciate you being here with us, and wish you the best of luck this weekend, Zach.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
All right, we want to say thanks to Paul and Zach for joining our program today. We are just really excited about their contest on Saturday and to see how this really close women's basketball conference continues to shake out as we are in a race to get the games in and a really shortened period of time. And it just makes it all that more exciting to watch and to follow. So thanks for joining us today, fans. Make sure to check back next week for another edition of Game of the Week, and to keep up with all of the information and stats and live streaming on our website, www.umacathletics.com, and follow us on social media at UMAC Athletics on Twitter and on Instagram. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.